Hello and welcome in. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. Become a diehard. Go PHNX.com. Pick up a free hat and or shirt every single year. You are a diehard. I'm diehard for this man to my right, Bo Brack. I'm diehard for producer Damon, Dawg behind the camera today. I'm Johnny Venerable. Is it playoffs or bust for our sweet baby Arizona Cardinals in 2024? I'm just going to cut to the chase, and I'm going to say, yes, it is. Bo.
Ooh.
How do you feel about that?
I like it. I like a nice, strong take to start a show by my co-host, Johnny Venerable. And we're not short on those, especially when we have an award-winning producer like Damon, Dawg. He likes his takes strong, like Johnny likes his sewage coffee that he's drinking right now. Let's start the show at 4:30. Want to say hi to everybody in the chat. Also want to say hi to our brand new diehard What's Up Matthew. Shouting us out on Twitter, formerly Twitter, now X. He's hitting us up, and we're excited to have him in the exclusive member Discord. Dylan Richards, what's going on? Doc's Cards. Darren, Jess, K2, Andy, Carpfish, whole gang's here. Hit that like button right out of the gates. Going to be talking what this Cardinals team is capable of doing. NFL Network not fully on board. We'll get into that. And then we'll get the thoughts from PFF NFL analyst from the PFF NFL show pod, Sam Monson, a little bit later.
Yeah, like I call BS on a lot of this that's going on. The Arizona Cardinals had a stellar draft. They were very competitive last year with Kyler Murray. And then people think they're just going to suck this year, that they're going to be a bottom tier team in the NFL. I'm sorry. In the NFC with a fourth place schedule, like I think this team has the makings of a playoff team. Now, what's a playoff team year to year kind of differs based on the competition, but like we're not going to do over-unders today. We're not going to do projecting game by game. But I do think the arrival of Marvin Harrison Jr., something that, listen, we think Michael Wilson's going to take a step forward. Trey McBride, Greg Dortch, the run game's there, right? The offensive line outside of Jonah Williams, DJ Humphries, status quo. Then you add a guy who, I'm sorry, is projected to have 1,100 yards and almost double-digit touchdowns. And people are like, you know what? I'm not really feeling that team this year. I think they're going to go backwards. This was the national media last year. The Cardinals are not going to win a game. They're going to go winless. They are going to be the worst team in NFL. Remember that? And then they beat the Cowboys. They should have won, by the way, week 1 against the Commanders and certainly week 2 against the Giants. They are unequivocally, objectively, the most slept-on team in the NFL right now. You got teams talking about starting Drew Lock in our Lord and Savior 2024 NFL season. You got teams still talking about Geno Smith in the NFC landscape. All the hoopla and the garbage that's being spewed in the NFC South. And the Cardinals with Kyler Murray and MHJ can't be a playoff contender? Come on, let's be serious here. But we have very unserious people outside of this market.
Right. They're not paying close enough attention, right? And as you said, they're sleeping. They took maybe one too many sleep time gummies, which nobody recommends. You got to, of course, enjoy your gummies, your cannabis gummies responsibly. But there's a deep sleep, and there shouldn't be. Like Pete Prisco, CBS Sports, he gets it. He pays enough attention. He's a proud former Sun Devil. He pays attention to the Valley of the Sun, and he sees that the Arizona Cardinals are a team on the rise. They saw how hard they scratched and clawed in each and every game underneath Jonathan Gannon and his new coaching staff, and saw that with consistent quarterback play, they were already a team that was making some noise. They went 3-5, and our savior Matt Prater missed some crucial field goals that would have made him 4-4 with Kyler Murray back in the fold. And then you add and raise the talent 4 level as far as the defensive line goes, and then you add a guy like Darius Robinson in the first round of the draft, and as you mentioned, Maserati Marv, the best wide receiver in the loaded 2024 wide receiver class at the X position that they desperately needed to fill. And the offense is going to be a top 10 group. It's just depending if we're going to find out how high they can go, right? And then the defense, it needs to rebound. And if the defense rebounds and they take strides like they did in year 2 under Gannon in Philadelphia, I don't think they're going to be like that good. But if they're better in getting off the field, this is going to be a team that's going to win some games and be in contention for a spot, for one of the 7 spots in the NFC.
In 2021, there was a team that had the over-under of about 6.5, which is where, depending on what you look at, Sportsbook, we recommend our friends at BetMGM, the Cardinals are at, right? 6.5 for this team in 2021. They added a top 10 receiver. They had a quarterback coming off major injury, and the Super Bowl in the Cincinnati Bengals. Like that to me, listen, I'm not saying the Cardinals are going to go to the Super Bowl. The Bengals, I think, had more talent defensively, certainly under Lou Anarumo, but that's what it kind of feels like. And Burrow was younger, and I get it. And Jamar, if Marvin Harrison Jr. has a Jamar Chase-esque type of rookie season, we'd all be thrilled. But I do think that's a fair comparison. Kyler Murray's been to the postseason. He's been to the postseason in the NFC West, holding off Pete Carroll, Kyle Shanahan, and Sean McVay in the process. That can't be discounted. And he did it with Cliff Kingsbury and Steve Keim and Vance Joseph. Now he has a real organization, a real team around him, and better players offensively, younger players than I would argue than ever before. It really is going to come down to how much can Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rallis overachieve with this defense, because there were times this year where it felt like the defense was outpacing the offense despite the lack of talent.
Definitely in week one. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, Washington, they racked up, 6 sacks in that game. They had a defensive tutty. It was nice. I see Cam E in the chat saying, playoffs or busts. Are you insane? Absolutely not. How about we just start by doubling our wins? Look, that's all well and good. And that's if you want to say, I don't think that's as realistic as this team with consistent quarterback play knocking on the door of a playoff spot. I really don't. I mean, as far as when you look at how bad people were projecting the Bucs last year and how bad people were projecting the Los Angeles Rams to be last year.
Great point. Buccaneers especially.
You get consistent play from Baker Mayfield. He actually balled out, relative to Baker Mayfield's career. And what do? They're firmly in the playoffs. And then you've got Matthew Stafford consistently playing throughout the season, despite those teams being overloaded, especially the Rams. Like, we cast off the Rams because they were eating like an absurd amount of dead money and they didn't have a whole lot of talent on the roster. But when they got consistent play from Stafford, Puka Nacua, he emerged. Cooper Kupp came back. They ground and pounded. Kyron Williams emerged, and they became, this ground and pound with a passing attack that could rip your heart out with explosives. Who's that sound like?
The Arizona Cardinals. And let me double down on that. If Kyler Murray plays good football this year, if he plays above average, which I think is the floor for K1, if he stays healthy, how are they not in the postseason discussion? Like, when's the last time a team's had a quarterback that had, let's just be conservative, 28 passing touchdowns, 27 passing touchdowns, 8 rushing touchdowns. He minimized his turnovers at the end of last year. Like, if that's Kyler Murray's season, well, we saw it last year with a difficult strength of schedule and no Marvin Harrison Jr., and they should have been 500 with a defense that had less talent, significantly less talent than they do now. Now you're not playing on the road at New England or the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though you won. You're not playing on the road at Philadelphia, even though you won. It is very realistic for this team to be able to go in and say 7-8 wins is the floor, and I think 10-11 wins is the ceiling. I think their over-under in Vegas should be about 8.5. I think it should be right there at 8.5. They remind me of Detroit 2 years ago, when they went into Lambeau and they beat the Packers and they won 9 games. They didn't make the postseason, right? Like, I think the Cardinals are very on brand. 2021 Bengals, 2022 Detroit Lions. Like, the key is Kyler Murray. You can't look at this roster as a traditional rebuild. You have to look at it as a rebuild with some good young talent and a $50 million quarterback. This team could have said, we want to extend the length of our rebuild. We want to go with a rookie quarterback. We want to take Drake May. We want to tank all Ash. Listen, if they had not brought Kyler Murray back, they would have had the number 1 pick and they would have drafted Caleb Williams. But instead, they told you, we believe in Kyler Murray. He's coming back. He's going to help us win games. And we think with Kyler Murray over the course of a healthy offseason and a 17-game regular season, we can be in playoff contention. There's no reason to bring Kyler Murray back at the end of last year if you don't think you're going to push for a playoff berth in 2024. No reason. If it's, let's try to get to 7 or 8 wins, then you should have tanked for Caleb. You should have tried to get the number 1 pick and traded Kyler Murray. Thankfully, that's not their mindset. Their mindset is win this season. They're not dipping their toe in. They expect to be competitive and above average.
Right. I mean, that's why I think that they were not content, but okay with wearing it last year. Like they knew that it was a necessary evil. I mean, as far as to get the roster in a spot to where they could really truly get it to where they can draft and develop and start to lay the foundation. But yeah, I like this from Vic. Did you guys see where CJ Stroud said that the Cardinals had a very difficult defensive team despite not having much talent? Yeah. I mean, the only team to turn over CJ Stroud 3 times last year, right? He hadn't thrown 3 picks like in his football career, and they pick him off in that game and gave themselves a fighting chance in a game, a contest that they didn't deserve to be in, but they were until, the final couple minutes of the loss. But absolutely. I mean, I think Nick Rawls and Jonathan Gannon, like they're going to have the calls, mostly the correct calls. Now they need people to execute it. And when you had teams like the Rams and the Niners that had just the personnel to just bury them and win up front, and now that's not the case. They were able to add players that are NFL level defensive line of scrimmage players like Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols, and now Darius Robinson. That changes things a little bit. Like when you strike the fear into the opposing team, they can't just like, okay, just take the air out of the football and just pound it down their throats. Like they can't do that any longer.
Well, I like this comment here. Michael Evans, K1 needs to play good this year. He's done here. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it kind of echoes Brian Baldinger's point from Tuesday. It's just basically like this is Kyler Murray's time now. And if Kyler Murray is going to live up to the contract extension, he's going to play high level football. And that's their expectation. So it's like, this very much like takes care of itself. I don't think there's any scenario in which Kyler Murray balls out and the team does not benefit in terms of wins. That's the beauty of the situation at hand. Like Kyler Murray would have robust statistical games, and Cliff Kingsbury and Steve Keim and Vance Joseph would fumble the opportunity to win games. Now I think he's in the perfect complementary football, run game, defense, competent coaching staff. I mean, I know Kyler Murray didn't play in this outing last year. We had people on our show, Michael, after they beat the Cowboys with the personnel that they had, and they're like, how did that happen? Now, it wasn't some fluke. The Cardinals ran for over 200 yards. And I see this a lot. You should be encouraged more than anything. Yes, Kyler Murray gets a whole offseason. This coaching staff, we feel like, has an opportunity to be pretty good. And we saw the times last year, out-coach Nick Sirianni, out-coach Mike McCarthy. Now you have to step it up in the NFC West. You got to take on Shanahan and McVay now.
Mm-hmm.
But like, does anybody think the Cardinals don't have a chance to sweep the Seattle Seahawks? They almost swept them last year with a horrific offensive outing at Seattle. And at the end of the season, they should have beaten Seattle. I'm sorry. We all know that they should have, but thankfully they didn't to get a sweep baby Marv. But like, you're sweeping Seattle and you're just, can you win 1 of 4 games against the Rams / the Niners? And you go 3-3 in the division? And you're telling me they can't do that? Of course they can. Look at their team. It's way better. Their best players are their young players.
Yeah.
Outside of Budda Baker and James Conner. That's how you win in the NFL. Go ask the Green Bay Packers, who got better every month of the season. They took their lumps, and then they cooked at the end of the year, and nobody wanted to play that team. What was the problem with Steve Keim's teams? They'd start off fast in September and October. They would physically break down November, December. The Cardinals are not built that way. But nobody likes to deal with the fact of the matter of the Cardinals are on the upswing. Mm-hmm. They're in a very competitive division, yes. But based on what they did at the end of last season, which you cannot throw away, this should be a playoff team this year.
It absolutely should be. And the style of football that they want to play is conducive to that. As you mentioned, it doesn't seem like ground and pound would be something that is easy to sustain through the 17-game marathon that it is. But when you've got, you go too deep now as people who are capable of carrying the rock as a bell cow running back and James Conner and Trey Benson. I know we got to learn a little bit more about Benson, but I'm pretty confident he's going to be a future starter.
He plays running back. I think we're okay.
Right. And then you've got the offensive line and depth across the offensive line. I mean, you can go a couple players deep at each position now with what you've done if your draft picks hit to any extent. So, I mean, they want to play that bully ball, and then that bully ball, that conflict, it sets up Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson, and Trey McBride to blow you up in the passing game. It's just that's how good teams are built. That's how the schemes that good teams run, and they should be in every game. And even if Kyler Murray, and I think when he came back, he had an uneven return. Like when you saw good game against Atlanta, and then the next game, falls short against the Rams, and then decent against the Texans, probably not great, but then good game against Pittsburgh, and then bad game against Chicago, great game against Philly, great game against Seattle. So, like even with that, they almost go 4-4. So I just think if now with Kyler Murray entering his second year in the system with a full offseason ahead of him to work out with his entire offensive line, to work out with his full complement of playmakers, I mean, they are in a position to make a whole lot of noise in the NFC. And like people can look at it and they can say, well, this is what the Niners, the Rams, and the Seahawks did last season, and just say and say the Cardinals have an uphill climb. Absolutely. But they understand, like, if where they want to go, they have to beat teams within the NFC West, and they anticipate doing that. And just because teams had success against them over the last 2.5 years, that's not a true indicator. Like, we always see teams fall off in the NFL. Always.
Easily.
Always. So, and it's usually the teams that are young and physical and more athletic that are the ones that are coming out of nowhere, making that worst, not necessarily to first, but getting themselves in a position to kind of get a spot in January.
I make a quick point here, and then we'll get to some of these super chats. The Seattle Seahawks lost a Hall of Fame head coach. Like, they can say what they want. They hired a defensive coordinator from Baltimore who's never been a head coach before. Like, that bodes well for the Cardinals. The Cardinals last year, Kyler Murray in 8 games had 13 touchdowns with no offseason. It was the hardest. He played 8 games. It was the hardest strength of schedule remaining in the NFL. He had 10 passing touchdowns to 5 picks and 3 rushing touchdowns. If you project those numbers without MHJ, no offseason, right? Coming in cold, you project that over 17 games, it's 28 touchdowns.
Yeah.
People don't think that he's going to have a big year. If he stays healthy, he's going to the Pro Bowl. They are making the playoffs. Like, you can't convince me otherwise. Every single year outside of his rookie year that he has been healthy, that he has finished the season, they've been in playoff contention. They've been to the playoffs, or in 2020, they should have gone to the playoffs. And we know how that season ended up. But I mean, it's just,
which organization has some of the most continuity in the division? It's the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah. I mean, as far as their coaching staff, you talk about Seattle. I mean, the success that we've seen from Geno Smith was with Shane Waldron as his offensive play caller. Shane Waldron's in Chicago now. Yep. Like, we don't know what's going to happen with Geno Smith, who's already talking about when he retires, he's not going to host a podcast.
They tried to trade up for Michael Penix.
Yeah.
That happened last week. They tried to go up and get Michael Penix before Atlanta took him. Like, how are they going to do that all year with Geno? And get Shane Diefenbach in this show. Who's Geno Smith's backup? Do we know?
Yeah.
Sam Howell.
There was a tweet.
Sam Howell plays snaps for them this year.
It said Geno Smith better look out for Sam Howell.
And that's what we're dealing with.
Our meaningless game king that we crowned him last year. He wins meaningless games preseason, and
he was awful against the Cardinals' no-name defense last year. He was terrible. Carpfish $4.99 super chat. I absolutely love what we've done, but I think to make the next jump to succeed, we need a star pass rusher. Here's what I'll tell you, Carp. I think it's the biggest weakness on the roster, and I think that it's absolutely going to be something they address. I don't think a star pass rusher bill prohibits them from making the postseason. I think they're going to get production out of about 5 to 7 guys, and if they all are playing in the sandbox of 4, 5, 6, 7 sacks, they'll be in good shape collectively. But Carp, to your point, do they have that ass kicker that's going to get you 15? They do not currently.
Through 10 weeks of the season, they were doing just fine without a star pass rusher. I agree with Carpfish overall. Like, you need somebody, when it's late in the season, and somebody that's just skilled at getting after the quarterback and consistent doing it, right? Like, they don't have one of those guys on the team. Nobody's emerged yet. You hope that Darius Robinson helps with that, and hopefully Zaven Collins, BJ Ojulari take a big step forward. But before week 10, this was a team that was up there as far as TFLs and sacks, and then they fell off a cliff. Production fell off a cliff. The wear and tear across the defensive line. You had Johnny playing nose tackle. You had me playing defensive tackle. It was brutal, right? It was awful. We didn't know who was getting in there, and it's like Zaven Collins had to go in and just get absorbed by blockers because there was just what else? I mean, they didn't have to really
see my swim move technique up front to the interior lineman in the NFC West. Johnny immediately enters the blue tent. 7 broken bones. Yeah, legitimately, like, we don't joke about this. I'm being dead serious. It was the worst collection of defensive tackles I've seen in the NFL for a starting franchise.
With all due respect to those players, right?
It was one of the worst position groups I've ever seen in the NFL. It was on par with, I mean, the year the Buffalo Bills started Nathan Peterman, that's what the Cardinals defensive tackle group was last year. That's the comparison I can make. So yeah, they're going to be better by default because how many D tackles
the Broncos quarterback room?
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, very comparable. Braden Jacob, $9.99. Our defense is going to be a whole lot better. Max Melton is going to turn into a number 1 corner. I'm for that. He's a 5'11" with 32-inch arms, which is bigger than MHJ. He also has great instincts and elite speed. They drafted him to be a number 1 corner. If he becomes a high-end number 2, awesome. But I think his ability to be physical at the line of scrimmage and play one-on-one outside is something they don't have right now. I like Sean Murphy-Bunting. I think he's a 2. I think in the best case scenario, he's a high-end 2.
Right.
Max Melton on a 4-year rookie contract under Jonathan Gannon. This is, I mean, if I'm a defensive back, there's no place I'd rather be drafted with a team with minimal expectations, a position group that's up for grabs, Bo. There's a lot of money to be made if you're Max Melton under Jonathan Gannon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When you look what he was able to do with a pair of vets in Philly, and then some of the guys that didn't have the skill set that Braden is outlining here with in the measurables that Max Melton has, and throw Elijah Jones into that. You know, Elijah Jones, the late 3rd round pick from BC. And then, you know, Garrett Williams is probably going to continue to be your slot guy. And then you got just chess pieces you can move all over the board. Right. And that room, just the athlete that they have in that room now is in a way better spot than it was a year ago.
Well, Elijah Jones, Max Melton, they take the ball away. Cardinals DBs last year struggled in general, but they couldn't intercept passes.
You a big fan of Rabbit? Dadrian?
Yeah.
Taylor Demerson?
I was like eating rabbit? No, I've never had any rabbit.
So I asked about the 3 corners.
I know,
how they had gaudy pick numbers in college, and I was asking Nick Rawlis about it yesterday. Like, how can you get that to translate to the next level? And the first thing he says, like, you mean rabbit? He's like, what? And he's like, Rabbit. That's DTD's name.
Is it because his name's so long? Is that why?
He just said that's what he's gone by since Pee Wee football.
Okay.
I like the pick
I
way
don't
more.
hate it.
Yeah, it does. It does take the pick value up way higher.
Rabbit Taylor Demerson is a Pro Bowler.
It's just like we love Kool-Aid. We have a rabbit. We don't have any Kool-Aid. Hey, it's Delax. $4.99 super chat. This team is well coached, and that alone gives me high hopes for this season. Go Cards. Jonathan Gannon and his staff undressed Nick Sirianni's group at the end of the year. It was he abused Nick Sirianni, and then they went into Philadelphia.
True. Consider they didn't have their guy Dom.
That's huge, dude. The mascot on the sideline, that's everything.
He knew he could take advantage. Mike Tomlin's a good head coach. They got bludgeoned by Jonathan Gannon's underman Arizona Cardinal team. If you go rewatch that game,
Tomlin's offense was in flux.
That game was not competitive.
Right. They were on their second week of an interim OC, and it was just that's all you needed to give Gannon and Rawlis. They game plan the shit out of those guys.
The only games that they weren't competitive with K1 were, unfortunately, the games in the division, because the Rams and the Niners, they have Hall of Fame head coaches. They go to Super Bowls. Their roster is elite. So if the Cardinals played in the NFC South, they'd be favored to win the NFC South. But they play in the NFC West, right? They would. They definitely be favored to win the NFC. The dirt trash heap NFC South, where Baker Mayfield made the divisional round.
NFL.com rankings, you're going to be blown away. You're going to be flabbergasted by some of the shitbox teams.
I only read GoPHNX.com. I don't read that trash. No. Gannonite, $1.99. Thank you, Delax. Someone check on Mike Tannenbaum. He's in hibernation until the season starts.
Tannenbaum? Yeah, he should be.
Hibernation until he can get some stinky takeoff that is going to like light the Twitter streets on fire.
He's getting unanswered calls from ESPN right now. Like, hey, I'm available. You guys need me? No, we're set. We're set post draft coverage.
I love how on Twitter when any team has like terrible cap situation, they're just like, "Is Mike Tannenbaum this team's GM?" Because he just would mismanage. I mean, Damon knows all about it. What he did to the Dolphins cap, basically lit money on fire, Keim style. Chris Smith, $2. Are we concerned about Trey Benson's medical history? I mean, he's been healthy for 2 years, and he didn't have a lot of carries. They ran the football with a couple different backs. He was their number one back. I would rather have somebody have 150 carries on the ground for 2 years than 350 exiting college for a singular year. But I mean,
I'm not disrespectful to the ACC like Johnny is, but like Florida State, obviously a proud program, right? It's not what it was in the Bowden heyday or whatever, but
I mean, they went undefeated.
They went undefeated, but where was a lot of their talent? Defense. We saw a ton of defensive players go off the board. We didn't see any any offensive linemen.
It was like he and Keon Coleman. That was it.
Yeah, it was Keon Coleman. It was Jordan Travis and Trey Benson behind. I mean, you guys keep me straight here, but I don't know if they had any offensive linemen drafted. So like Trey Benson was doing that behind, a fine offensive line, but he was leading they were one of the best rushing attacks in the nation with Trey Benson. A lot falls on, a lot of the success of that should go on Benson's arms and legs.
I mean, he averaged over 2 years, over 6 yards per carry. I mean, he had 14 touchdowns this year. I mean, he literally, in a perfect world, he's James Conner with another gear. Like I think in the red zone, especially, that's where James helps you the most. Trey does the same thing. Like that, he's a red zone physical back. You have, like Bo said on the broadcast, you have to have that with Kyler Murray. You cannot have, respectfully, DeMercado and Michael Carter, that kind of back be your number one guy behind K1. You have to have somebody. We don't do the tush push here with K1. He's undersized. So you need a big physical. It's just, I'm not throwing shade. It's just a reality of the situation. You need somebody there to help you convert in short yardage. James was so good at that last year. And this kid's ready to take the baton eventually. It's a perfect compliment.
Yeah. Cardi D. That's a great name.
It is.
Healthy K1 equals successful K1. Let's not forget how dynamic our guy is. Hashtag Bird Gang. Hashtag line held.
We've never forgotten.
You got to love that, Damon.
I do. I really do. That movement was so special.
We got to do like a 30 for 30 on Hold the Line.
It's
Please
like
no.
Please no. Up saying he was special.
When did it start? Did it start like we were doing the trade talk with the Vikings, and then I feel like I came back from Houston, and then that next week, Damon was so disgusted with our behavior of talking about a trade that could have happened.
I truly was.
I think, honestly, when did it really start? August 11th, 2002. That was the birth of Marvin Harrison
1999.
Jr. Oh. Or you, if you want your birth.
How old were you in 2002, Damon?
3.
That's horrifying. I hate that.
I turned 3 9 days before that, before Marv was born.
You're basically the same age. Charlie Sinclair, that rat bastard, is back in the chat. $4.99. I have a great idea. PHNX Cardinals should celebrate the arrival of the savior, MHJ, by having a jersey giveaway. Am I right? Come on, bro. We know. And he says in the next tweet, or the next super chat, $1.99, they're selling MH jerseys, right? They are not currently. We talked about this yesterday.
Conky jersey, I'm sure it would go hard.
If I had to talk myself into that, I'd be very upset. But Charlie, I think your Chargers are going to be good. Can we just? I love the friendly banter. We talked about it in yesterday's show, Bo, as Charlie's pointing out. Thank you for those back-to-back super chats. The Cardinals have still not made Marvin Harrison Jr.'s jersey available. He doesn't have an NFLPA deal. He doesn't have a contract, a rookie deal signed, and he doesn't have a jersey number. And a week from tomorrow, he's going to be practicing at rookie minicamp, which you can do without a contract. But can you do that without a number? What if he just went out there and just like one of those jerseys without a number on it? That'd be pretty hilarious.
I'll be the media Karen for that. Excuse me. He can't do this. He can't go out there without a number. and I'll find some rules that he's going to have a jersey number.
You think McConkey 15? You think that's kind of hard?
That's gross.
Yeah, it's fine. It's good for a guy.
sick.
It's good for a guy that's going to get like 600 yards a season.
That's swag right there.
Like the powder blues, they always look good.
That's a hard uniform to screw up. So Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey on Twitter, it was trending all day today. People are wondering, when's it going to be available? This is Jersey Gate now. We're going to cover it every day until it happens. Yesterday, we had gone through a lot of emotions, single digit, teens, maybe something in the 80s. Have you guys revamped your mindset? Have you had a chance to sleep on what kind of number he should go with?
I still feel like 17 would be good. I don't believe the 81. Like Travis Vokalek has it. I don't think Vokalek's tied to it, but I also don't know like if that's something that Marv wants.
Do you think he cares?
I asked him if he cares. He's like, it's something we're figuring out.
I think he cares.
Here's
how I know he cares. He's on Twitter a lot, and he's retweeting, and he's active on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, you care about the aesthetic of a jersey number. Is that a fair take, Damon?
Yeah, I think so.
I think
that's good. Good thought process there.
Thank you. Greg.
I'm not buying the report from our former colleague Howard Balzer about 81.
Yeah, a lot of people ran with that today.
Arias was 87 last year. He might have gotten 81 at one point. He's now wearing 38. Vokalek is still on the roster as 81.
Yeah, I don't think Marv's wearing any number in the 80s unless it's his dad's.
Yeah.
I don't think receivers want to wear 80s anymore. I think he wants to be 18. He can't have 18. So I think you start working your way. You work your way down from 18 and you pick a number between 1 to 17 that's available. Greg, $2. Can't believe the Deion Sanders culture is toxic. Mind blown. I've been trying to follow this. It's pretty wild what's going on the Twitter streets. It has something to do with the Cardinals' new undrafted free agent signing a wide receiver? Was he a part of that scuffle? The Colorado receiver or no?
No. Xavier Weaver?
Was Xavier Weaver a part of that? Or was it a different Xavier?
Yeah, it was another Xavier who transferred out. Who Deion was like, hey, you should transfer. And then he's like, I'm going to play through spring ball. And then his account of how they treated him during that time. And then he inevitably transfers out, goes to play and has a successul season.
He was at Austin P and I think he was a freshman All-American.
Yeah, he had a good season. And then the Athletic did this whole, wasn't it part of the Athletic story? Yeah. And then you had Shadur Sanders really kind of just throw a Molotov cocktail in the middle of it and says, I don't even Ion even remember must be mid. Yeah. And then a couple other teammates pile on.
That sucks. I don't like that.
Yeah, and then you had Prime jump in too.
Oh, Prime commented on it?
Man, this is trying to tell my parents
how to use the keyboard. Yeah, then I control stuff. What?
What did Prime say? Deion trashing former players.
Oh man,
that's real leadership type.
There was
stuff.
A screen cap of a guy's stats, like the corner stats, and it was 8 tackles and 4 passes defended.
Okay.
And Prime quote tweeted, this is great trying to tell this to you. Quote tweeted, Lord Jesus.
You know who I bet loved it? RK from our friend from DMVR. I bet RK was just loving it.
They were eating it up,
slobbering all over it.
Yeah, Jake was just in every comment of every person that said anything about Deion in Colorado and Shadur. And then
here's what I'm going to say, Damon. If Deion was doing that at ASU, our ASU boys would be doing the same thing.
Oh my God.
Shane would love it so much. He would make up every excuse why it's okay for Deion to do.
Yeah, me and Totri, we talk about it all the time. If Deion came here to ASU, because that was during the same hiring cycle as Kenny.
Yeah, it sure was.
If they had gotten Deion, Totri would have 50,000 followers, and he'd be defending Deion with his tooth and nail.
Defending Deion in the Colorado program is a full-time job,
right?
For sure,
100%. You put that on your W-2.
It's good for business. It's absolutely good for business. But regardless, bad look. bad look for.
I saw somebody tweet out a picture of Deion's feet with the 3 toes left, and I'm like, I don't even want to go down
with
this
the
thread.
quote, "Lord Jesus," right?
Yeah.
And also, like, there were people that were going and quoting that, and they would just screen cap the standings where they're 4-8.
Yeah, you want to talk about mid? How about 12 out of 12 in the Pac-12? Is that mid or is that bad? Actually,
Shedeur Sanders next year. That's going to be an interesting case study of where he
imagine
goes.
using a top 10 pick on a quarterback who trashes his teammates.
I mean, I liked
you
him.
think Spencer Rattler and his antics on QB1 when he was at Pinnacle in high school deterred teams from selecting him this past draft? You think people are going to be like, does Shedeur not understand that scouts and NFL decision makers have Twitter or have access to Twitter?
Listen, like, I don't love the Broncos taking Bonex and McCarthy that high and Michael Penix, but like, there was a fear of God coming over those teams when they looked to the 2025 QB class. Only the Raiders with Gardner Minshew. Cardi D's back $2. Remember Bird City, that famous hashtag when the team tried to get away from Bird Gang? I do. It died a quick and a painful death, thankfully. Bird City is not a thing. I love this city that we live in, and I love the birds. Let's not combine the two. Thank you, Cardi D.
It's always been Bird Gang, even when Bird City was the hashtag. It was times were tough during the Bird City movement.
Probably a Kime thing. He probably pushed for that. Richard, $4.99. Have you guys talked to Dortch? I'm curious about his opinion on the receiver room. We haven't. We will. Hopefully this summer we can get him on. I'm going to tell you, I'm sure Greg is thrilled with how this has gone. Greg is the unquestioned number 3 receiver. Like this is a great spring for Greg Dortch. No one has come in. First of all, I just think he's the 3rd best receiver on the team, and sometimes he's the 2nd best, right? Full transparency. Like, he played big last year. They are telling Greg Dortch, with the lack of moves outside of MHJ, you're our guy. We're going to go to you a lot. You're going to be our return man at times, but you're going to play a lot offensively. It's been a great spring for Greg Dortch.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him wearing his new number 4 jersey.
Yeah.
As the team is working out with its strength and conditioning coaching staff right now. So each time we've been out there this week to talk to Rallis or Petzing, players have been on the field working out. They can't work out with their position coaches, but they can work out in a strength and conditioning capacity. And it seems like there's a lot of excitement and everybody's ready to get to work.
I'm ready to get to work in a fun way with our friends at BetMGM. I'm ready to work on some of my wagers lately. NFL draft coverage is over, sadly. Our Suns are out of the NBA playoffs. It's hard for me to watch the NBA playoffs right now. They're kind of lame. So I'm focusing on the diamond with some of our favorites, because with BetMGM right now, they've introduced a new Grand Slam MLB jackpot, which is a weekly bet and get promotion. Super cool. Check it out. So if you think a player is going to do well over the course of a 3-day period, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the weekend, place $10 on any player to hit a home run during that weekend span. It can span 3 days. If they hit a grand slam, somehow they hit a grand slam, you can win $50K in daily prizes or share it with everybody else who hits it on that player. But you got to use our friends at BetMGM, and you got to use the bonus code PHNX. And on top of that, they're still doing the fantastic BetMGM up to $1,500 back in bonus bets first bet offer. All you got to do, download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on your iOS or Android device, or check them out online. I love pulling up the full screen on my desktop at betmgm.com. Sign up and deposit. All you got to do is $10 into your newly created BetMGM Sportsbook account. Place your first wager, and you're going to get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if it loses. So if you bet 10 and you lose, you get $10 back in bonus bets. Simple as that. If you want to go all the way up, feel like a money line's going to hit, $1,500 back if that bet loses. So you're never out completely with BetMGM and PHNX, but that's the bonus code to remember. Check out the show notes for full details. Now listen to my guy Shane Diefenbach talk about it in the disclaimer.
Bonus bets expire in 7 days. One new customer offer only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
City, and it's always a beautiful day when you've got Butcher Box in your freezer. You just thawed out some meat to throw on the grill later in the day, in the evening. For me, that's the case. Got some chicken thawed out and marinating, ready to get home and get it on the grill. You can get that free range organic chicken. You can get pork raised, crate free, wild caught seafood, and 100% grass-fed beef. Got some steaks. Saving those for the weekend, Johnny. Can't wait to fire up some nice steaks from Butcher Box. They're delivered right to your doorstep. Free shipping always, and curated, customized box plans. You're not big on pork chops or any of the pork products, well, you can get an all beef box. You can get beef and chicken, or you can get beef and seafood. Whatever you want, you can customize it, tailor fit to what you want from Butcher Box. The convenience, it's unmatched. You can get it right to your doorstep. It's always prepared and ready to get into your freezer and then thaw right out. Less trips to the grocery store for all of you. Check out Butcher Box right now. It's offering our listeners an amazing offer. New users get free meat plus $20 off their first box. Join us today using the link butcherbox.com/PHNX. That's butcherbox/PHNX to use the code PHNX also to receive that exclusive offer before time runs out. Butcherbox.com.
Yes.
/PHNX.
Love Butcher Box. Sorry I interrupted your read there.
Good,
I'm
but
excited. I'm just
wanted to get
excited.
in
I'm
there
excited,
one more
boy.
time.
We got breaking news we're going to share on this podcast here in a second. But first, let's get to the super chat. Richard, $4.99. Did you guys hear the interview with Trey Benson? Jared Versus was on there, and it was an awesome interview on Burns and Gamble. I have not. Trey Benson sounds like a great guy, though, and sounds like a physical, violent player. So I'd love to get Trey Benson on this podcast. We're hoping to hear this spring. But thank you so much, Richard. We appreciate the super chat. And we're chatting it up here on PHNX Cardinals. A reminder, everybody, drop a like on this video. The goal is 300 likes plus on this fine football Thursday. Again, just because the NFL draft is over, our coverage does not stop. Become a diehard. Go PHNX.com. Pick up a free hat and or shirt every single year. You are a diehard at GoPHNX.com. Again, welcoming new diehards every single day. Check out all of these perks. You get the diehard membership card. You get the free t-shirt of your choice from the PHNX merchandise locker. You have access to all of our premium written content. Gerald Bourguet cranking out the content. I don't know if you saw this. Matt Ishbia reads GoPHNX.com. He's reading Gerald's articles. Is Matt Ishbia a diehard? If he's not, he should be. You got an entrance to the Discord lounge, PHNX Cardinals, Suns, whatever you want to do. Pop in and out. Plus, you get discounts on all future events like this one. How about this one? Keeping it real, 100. The event bowl takes place next Friday. So if you become a diehard right now, go and sign up for Keeping It 100 and save yourself a little coin. Have a great time in the process.
Yeah, you do not want to miss this. Going to have great, some of our favorite vendors out there with some delicious bites to eat. Get some free swag bags, and some other things, some opportunities to win while you hit the links there. Look at it. You're just firing from a cannon. Our friends over there on the MC giving away prizes. It's Keeping It 100 Golf Classic, the second annual May 10th scramble at Dobson Ranch Golf Club. Go to GoPHNX.com to get you or a foursome lined up to play next week.
Breaking news on this podcast shared from our guy Marv busting a move on Twitter. I'm posting it now. Dick's Sporting Goods has Marvin Harrison Jr. jerseys up for pre-order. Damon, can we see it? Again, Dick's Sporting Goods, the only place right now where you can pre-order an MHJ jersey. You can get youth, women's, men's. There's no number. And then, of course, it details shipping may vary. There's limited in stock already for men's jerseys. So, Bo, a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel here. The Marvin jerseys, they're becoming slowly available, even though he doesn't have a number yet.
Right, yeah. There's no 00. You can't wear that in the NFL. Wide receivers can wear numbers 0 through 49 and 80 through 89. And 0 is available. Zach Pascal had, 0 is available to wear in the league, but 00 is not. Johnny's jersey there on the right. Is that it? The $90 one?
The youth one?
Why is this an attack on me? Why are you taking the time that you said
that is
I'm trying to help the people.
Yes,
If they want
you
the
are.
jersey,
You are a man of the people.
That's the first time that I've seen his jersey available.
And that's fantastic. I mean, as we're getting more kind of light shed on why, what the holdup is between Marvin's camp and the NFL, the NFLPA, and it's as McAfee outlined, an issue with fanatics. But yeah, I mean, you're going to be able to wear a Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey in the near future.
You're obsessed with telling people that they wear small sizes, huh? You like doing that. That's
First
your big
of all,
alpha
Bo
play
shames grown adult men for jersey wearing. There's a knock against
I do
you.
not shame. I don't.
You told me on the show the other day. You're like,
No.
I can't wear.
No.
What did you say?
I choose not to wear as a grown adult.
But then you were a smug muggin, and you're like,
not.
I just
very
can't.
That's your insecurity speaking.
You think you're so superior because you won't, as a grown adult man in his late 30s, won't wear another man's jersey. How dare you? I would say that's Damon. I would say that's a hint of insecurity right there. Wouldn't you agree?
You should hear the way he talks to me at the office sometimes. He's like, what what size do you wear, Damon? An extra small? Is that what you got? XS?
Come on, that's not even fair. I pitted you as a medium,
and you were wrong.
And you're a guy that likes to wear
me.
a bigger t-shirt.
I've never seen Damon, as somebody who maybe likes to wear t-shirts a little bit too small. No. I've never seen Damon in not an oversized t-shirt.
Thank you, Johnny.
He's got shorty shorts and oversized t-shirts because that's what the kids wear.
Okay.
I can't believe.
Sorry, you pay more attention than I do.
Dare you? Yeah, this is just.
I'm excited
about Marvin's jersey being available, and Bo's over here. Here's what Bo's done today.
Why is Rudy calling me a fraud? Why I'm not an office bully?
You are.
I honestly, we've been tasked by our bosses to put in our t-shirt size. I'm sure to get some free swag, and I said, Damon, what size did you put down?
Why is that your business? Why is that your business?
I put on. I'll have you know, Bo. Yeah. I put on a medium shirt that we got for free because I got some coffee stain on a shirt I brought into the office, and Derek and Jesse were laughing at me at how ridiculous I looked in a medium shirt.
No, they weren't.
You can ask them. They were literally laughing out loud.
You know what? That's offensive to me because I wear shirts that fit my body.
I looked ridiculous, and you're like, you're a medium guy, right?
I disagree. I thought you looked the best you've ever looked. Wear clothes that fit. That's my advice for everybody out there.
Darren, I'm with you. Schmedium. That's where I've been. If I can wear a schmedium, I will. 100%. Dylan Richards. I want to meet Bo, but he will make fun of me wearing schmedium. Yeah, like that's the biggest feedback I got, Dylan, from the draft party. Was I had a great time, but Bo made me feel bad about myself. That's what we heard about.
I got one of those too, Johnny.
I met 100 people, and everybody. The huge takeaway was I was just a gigantic asshole.
I wanted to wear my jersey, but Bo told me not to. Slade $4.99 super chat. Y'all are relentless with this coverage. Love it. On yesterday's topic, my disappointing jersey was a booted jersey 1 week before he switched numbers. Oof. That's brutal. Yeah, that is, man. And I would think that they would refund that, but the NFL a little dicey with their refund status.
Item. It's a rookie card.
The 32, right? Buddha was 36, 32, and then 3.
Yeah, I think he was 36 then 32, wasn't he? I don't remember.
It's only what I just said, but yeah, you don't listen to me.
Okay. All right, let's talk about something else. Again, MHJ, thank you, Merv busting a move. MHJ jerseys right now available at Dick's if you want to support Marvin Harrison Jr. And I think, like we said on yesterday's show, it's going to be the most popular jersey sale in 20 years for the Arizona Cardinals. Non-popular, some of these fifth-year options around the NFL, Bo. Why are you smug mugging me?
I'm just reading the chat. Damon's like rolling down the chat, and it's just
so let's look at
it's on fire right now.
Yeah, let's look at the decline fifth-year options. So we know Zaven Collins didn't get his fifth-year option picked up. 2021, the last true first rounder that Steve Keim made in Arizona. So let's first look at those who didn't get their option picked up, and then we can look at everybody loves the 2021 draft. But the bottom half of the first round, I mean, I think sometimes we're a little hard on Zaven when we're looking what was drafted after him. So I'm going to pull this up here. So here's the fifth-year options that were declined. Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. So 4 for 4 with quarterbacks. So that shows you how good the top 15 was in position players not named quarterback, right? Everybody, Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, they're all in there. And then you look at the back half. Zaven, Davis, the linebacker out of Kentucky, Kadarius Toney, Caleb Farley. Everybody wanted the Cardinals to take him. He was hurt at Virginia Tech. He's hurt in the NFL. Yeah. Najee Harris, Peyton Turner. I don't even know who that is. Eric Stokes, the cornerback. Joe Tyron. How do I pronounce his last name? Schwenka. Alex Leatherhead was a bust. Rashad Bateman, a bust. So again, you look at that, and then you look at these first rounders that were taken after Zaven. Are we too hard on Zaven Collins? Because it's outside of like Greg Newsome maybe, and Darrisaw is a good player.
Jalen Phillips.
A lot of meh here.
Yeah, I mean, Kwity Paye just had his picked up. And you mentioned Darrisaw. He's been good.
But like that pass rusher from Penn State, the Ravens drafted, he's not any good.
Yeah, Jags picked up both, right? They got Lawrence and Travis Etienne.
Yeah. But Lawrence was a year before, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe he was this draft. My bad.
He was 1-1. And then
Newsome got his picked up. He's a good player.
And then Baltimore picked up theirs, right? The pass rusher here.
Did they? Odafe. Oh,
always good.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Do I sound like an idiot? Because I don't know
Jalen Phillips was the pick.
Odafe, this guy's got 8 sacks in 2 years. I have never heard his name consistently for Baltimore, but
they picked it up.
They picked up a pass rusher as 5 sacks last year and 3 sacks the year before. Yikes. Okay. Their pass rush group, I saw what it did against Patrick Mahomes, what it didn't do. Their number one pass rusher was a guy named Jadeveon Clowney last year.
Pretty good. Just plays a role.
Okay. I think I make an argument. Zaven Collins has been more productive than that guy.
No, stop that. He had 3.5 sacks. Like he's got like I root for Zaven. How dare you push me in the corner where I've got to come out swinging against him? But no, that guy's been more productive than Zaven Collins.
All right, he has good PFF numbers. Well, the point of that was outside that draft.
Think we're harsh. I don't think we're harsh on Zaven Collins. I don't.
No, but I do think that it's important for context. That draft is historically great before Zaven Collins was picked. When Zaven Collins got picked, the rest of the first round kind of turned into below average. So unless Steve Keim, remember there was rumors that Keim was going to trade up for Kyle Pitts, remember? And they were looking at Jalen Waddle. They ended up just hoping somebody would fall. Nobody fell. Micah Parsons, I mean, it was one of the all-time top 10s, top 12s. Right. So Zaven, unfortunately, like, who knows with different coaching and different developmental, tutelage from other people, but I'm still hopeful for him.
But here's the thing, like if say you put Monti Ossenfort in the Cardinals war room and he's the GM at the time, he's not looking at Zaven Collins as the pick there.
Yeah, he's taking the kid that went right after him.
He's Jalen Phillips, like Damon said. I mean, he's taking an edge, or he's taking an offensive lineman.
Or Greg Newsome or somebody like that.
I think that I trust their scouting enough to sniff out that Leatherwood was a bust. Maybe they're taking Kwity Paye there. Maybe they're taking a Darrisaw. Maybe I'm just guzzling down the Kool-Aid too much. But I just don't think they're entertaining any of these off-ball linebackers. I think they're looking at premium positions in that spot.
Well, we know Keim didn't value premium positions, but I think it hurt. The Simmons pick hurts more, in my opinion. Obviously, it was higher, and then the talent that you passed on, Tristan Wirfs, CeeDee Lamb, a couple different tackles. I mean, it made things exponentially worse. Whereas, what talent did they really pass on for Zaven Collins? I don't think it was as steep. I mean, Phillips, the pass rusher, is probably about it. I mean, you weren't realistically going to take Newsome there.
Who had medical?
Who was the other player they were going to take? You know the answer to this. If it wasn't Zaven Collins, we all do. They were going to take Najee Harris at 16. That's come out. That's confirmed. If it wasn't Zaven, it would have been Najee Harris. Oh, that would have been brutal. Oh, So bad.
You're in such a better spot. And I think Zaven Collins is in a better spot in a position to prolong and continue his NFL career. And, it's unfortunate that he got kind of drafted into a bad organization to start under a GM and a coaching staff that weren't really going good direction. He had to wait, right? He barely played in his first season, and then he had to move a season after that. So Zaven Collins is in a good spot even though his fifth-year option that got declined, to get way better, carve out a role for himself in this league moving forward, and potentially stay in the desert or go continue out on elsewhere. I like that from Low Tone Capone. Lord Jesus, looking at those all those players, or maybe talking about the Chimera.
Austin's right. We would pick Darosol if we had Monty back then, probably to go with DJ Humphries, 100%. I'm anxious to see these NFL power rankings, Brack, you've alluded to. I have not seen them. Yeah. And I know we got Sam Monson.
Well, I don't know. We'll probably push Sam to tomorrow.
We're pushing Sam a lot.
I know.
All right. So hold on the power rankings. Why I tell everybody about the benefits. I have a power ranking in my personal life as it relates to my financial acumen. You know who's at the top? Desert Financial Credit Union, the official credit union of the Venerable household, PHNX Sports, and the Arizona Cardinals. Ever heard of them? Desert Financial are a financial expert of teams who are committed to their members and the community, offering financial solutions tailored to helping real people achieve their financial goals and dreams. They can help you out. Again, if you just need a checking account, they've got you covered. How about a savings account? How about a mortgage, right? How about loans, credit cards? You want to build some credit for somebody in your family. They've got investment options and more. It's a one-stop shop to achieve your financial dreams. Arizona sports fans, look no further than Desert Financial Credit Union. Plus, you can represent the Red Sea with the Arizona Cardinal Visa debit card. I used it today, baby. Everybody loves it. It's a fantastic debit card. This is my favorite one I've ever had. You can pick one up right now for free at desertfinancial.com/Cardinals to get started. It takes a matter of minutes to open up a free checking account. The debit card's in the mail just a couple days after the fact. Check them out. You will not be sorry that you did. Desert Financial Credit Union is here to serve you.
It was elite. I had the gas tank on empty, pulled into a Circle K down the street from my house, filled her all the way up, saved 5 cents per gallon because I'm a member of the Inner Circle. It's a free app. It's a free membership that you can be a part of at America's Thirst Shop. It's a free membership program, 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. And then they tell you it's 3 cents every day after that. But once you reach kind of another echelon, if you are loyal as I am, as this crew is, you're saving 5 cents per gallon. You can actually save more than that with becoming a member of the Inner Circle. Enjoy your member exclusive beverage deal that's going on as well. Inner Circle members like you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster for just 69 cents. Everybody at the same time, I'll say 69 cents. Nice. Now through September 3rd. Find it in the app under Inner Circle offers. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details.
All right. So you've talked to me about these power rankings. I don't think I'm in the mood after the Cardinals were number 1 in the draft power rankings.
Well, if you knew nothing, you'd probably be a little excited about this, right? If I said, hey, Johnny, NFL.com released some post-draft power rankings. And you'll probably, I am a little.
You want me to tell you what I think they should be?
Yeah.
Or not what they should be. What I think.
You know what they are. You saw my tweet, right?
Did I? I don't remember now.
Where do you think they are?
I would say, well, I know they're bad because we're doing a segment on it, but they should be. But anywhere between 18 and 22, probably.
Okay.
Probably top 20 though.
And then where do you think that NFL.com ranked them?
I don't know. Who did this article? Tell me what schmuck over there put this together.
That's a hard ass there. Eric Edholm.
No, I like Eric. He used to come on my old podcast. He's a super nice guy. This is gonna make me mad.
Yeah.
Are they 27?
It's a good guess. It's almost like you're trying to be just right off, right? Cardinals, according to Eric Edom, and
this is terrible. This is terrible. By the way,
Kyler thinks it smells.
Yeah,
the Raiders don't have the Raiders have no one playing quarterback for them. They play in the AFC West.
Right.
Eric,
26th overall.
This is awful.
You got the Cardinals sandwiched between the Saints at 25, which I also don't agree with. And
the Saints could be the worst team in the league.
The Seahawks at 24th. And then you got the Giants at 27, Broncos at 28, Commanders at 29, Titans at 30, Patriots at 31, and then rounding out the league, the lowly Carolina Panthers.
That's so bad.
And then so this is what Eric Edom, is it Edom?
Yeah.
This is his reasoning for this. I just really appreciate how Monti Ossenfort runs his drafts. For all the failed former Bill Belichick guys, Ossenfort might be blazing a pretty interesting trail out in the desert. Cardinals landed arguably the best receiver in the draft in Marvin Harrison Jr.
Eric.
A solid foundational piece in pass rusher Darius Robinson, and one of my favorite day two corners, Max Melton, and a big play back, Trey Benson, all before Friday night was halfway through. Throw in a few fun mid to late round selections, Tim Raymond, safety Dadrian Taylor Demerson, edge Xavier Thomas, and 6th-round lifeline for offensive tackle Christian Jones, and the Cardinals had themselves a hell of a weekend. If the NFC West wasn't so tough, I might have them a little higher. As it is, they're in the sleeper on deck circle. So not even in the sleeper circle.
Rationale. Oh, they play in a hard division, so I think they're going to be bad.
And then he's got the Seahawks at 24. I mean, like I said, Gino's got a new offensive coordinator, and they haven't had a good defense in forever.
If you don't have the Cardinals ahead of the Seahawks to begin this year, I just don't think you're very smart. I just don't.
You don't know ball.
You don't.
Right.
Like Pete Carroll, every year outside of his first 2 years, they were above 500. He's one of the greatest coaches in the modern era. They basically forced him out. And you're telling me Old McDonald and Geno Smith are going to beat out the Cardinals? I don't care how many receivers the Seahawks have. Their defense was awful last year. I know they have Byron Murphy, but come on. That's a joke. Eric, come on. Do better than that, Eric.
You've got the Saints one spot ahead of them with Derek Carr and Spencer Rattler as their quarterback room.
Derek Carr was almost benched last year. Derek Carr was unwatchable at times, and they didn't do anything to the coaching staff. They're talking about they're going to release Michael Thomas. That's an old, bad team. They have one of the worst cap situations in the NFL. Kamara's still hanging around there. That's a 5-win team next year.
Yeah, and then you got the Raiders who are going to trot out either Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell. Like this is completely discounting the quarterback position.
Well, or he doesn't think highly of Kyler Murray. Nobody watched the Cardinals at the end of last year. I get it, but what are we doing?
He's got the Jets at 21, the Falcons at 20. It's really bad.
Where are the Niners and the Rams? Like top 5.
He also has the Bears at 16th.
I don't hate that. That doesn't bother me.
I mean, I think that the Bears are a team on the rise, no doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I think the Bears at 16 is much more egregious than Jets at 21. Jets have a good defense, at least. Like, proven.
Yeah.
I like this.
If Rodgers can come back and play.
T-Dactyl.
Rams are at 17. They don't have the Rams, like, running away.
Rams are going to win the division next year if the Cardinals don't. Niners are taking a step back.
And then the Niners in the top 10. Let's see. I'm going way up here. It sucks how far I have to go up the board. They're 2.
They're not. T-Dactyl, 9 wins is the bare minimum I'd accept in 2024. That should be the mindset. I did play those odds, by the way, locked in at 6.5 and bet the over. Easiest over possible, T-Dactyl. How are they not winning 7 games? Even if Kyler Murray doesn't play games, they were winning. Kyler Murray, if he stays healthy this year, they're going to go to the playoffs. That doesn't fit agendas, and that makes people uncomfortable. I mean, it's the same thing people were saying about Jared Goff 2 years ago, last year. I mean, just look at the numbers. Who in their right mind would pick the New Orleans Saints over the Arizona Cardinals? Get help. Seek professional help.
The Cardinals play the Carolina Panthers. That's a dub. right? I know you got to go to Charlotte.
Oh, we're not doing this over an hour into the show. All right, go ahead.
That should be a bunny dub. You've got the Patriots at home. That's an easy win.
That's a blowout.
Right. I mean, you got the Commanders.
That's a blowout.
You've got the Seahawks, obviously home and away.
We're sweeping Seattle. I'll put everything I own on that. The Seahawks are going to be a dumpster team this year. Go back to the trash can.
And then it's like your road game up in Minnesota. It's like Sam Darnold.
That's a winnable. That's a winnable game.
If they catch the Vikings week 1 and they've got Sam Darnold, if they're trying to play that card, it's not going to go well for them.
How many picks is he going to throw to Jalen Thompson?
You think JJ starts?
Yeah.
You're saying that for your fantasy.
Sure. He definitely starting.
I think he feel pretty confident he's going to start.
I agree with that, list. I have no issue with that.
Jags at 14 is most egregious one I'm looking at here. I think that's crazy. They choked the division last year.
Come on, Eric. Turn the brain on. Jesus. I don't need to be upset by May power rankings, but this is doing it for me. The Cardinals' hardest games will be the 4 they play against the Rams and the Niners. They'll be in every other game. And hopefully they're in those games and could steal one. But I mean, Cliff Kingsbury once upon a time beat Kyle Shanahan, swept him. Cliff Kingsbury used to own Kyle Shanahan. So I mean, you can run on the Niners and you can run on the Rams, especially. I don't care who the Rams drafted. They're not turning into Hall of Famers overnight, a la Aaron Donald. Like there's going to be a match. We've never seen Braden Fisk, who I like, playing NFL down. Jared Verse has never rushed the passer in the NFL. I thought he was a little stiff coming out of Florida State. Like there's some turnover here, as my co-host mentioned. So,
right, they just lost Raheem Morris.
I see that though, Bo, and it makes me think maybe they won't get as many primetime games. Maybe they get one. If that's what Eric at the NFL networks, NFL.com thinks about the Cardinals. But then I go on Twitter, Mina Kimes and Field Yates are talking about how they crushed the draft. They're one of the most physical teams in the NFL. They're poised for a big year. So I don't know. Believe what you want. I go off of facts. Last year, they were a 500 team with Kyler Murray with a bottom tier roster with the number 1 strength of schedule. So projecting
how much did you watch the Cardinals last year? Like when you hear Pete Prisco tell Brady Quinn on CBS Sports, he's like, what happened every time we watched the Cardinals play last year? They were competitive as hell, and they were playing harder than anybody else in the league. And now they have talent on the roster, and they have Kyler Murray, who's healthy, coming back.
Illadre, $1.99. Love this is probably my favorite super chat of the week. Bo is a bully. He paid to say that. I love it so much.
Yeah, my guy Victor saying that I was dogging his D-Hop jersey at the draft party. And that's not far from the truth. That's not far from the truth.
I'm sorry, Victor, that happened to you.
I just said he needed to update his gear.
We're all victims.
That was me supporting. That was me supporting, because I'm not a grown adult that wears a jersey. And maybe
there it is again. There it is again.
But I was supporting Victor's choice to do it, and I said, "Hey, gotta update the gear. I'm gonna lose."
He's gaslighting right now.
You know what I'm gonna do tomorrow on the show? Friday show.
You're wearing your kid Hollywood jersey.
I'm gonna wear a jersey on for tomorrow's show. I'm wearing a jersey for Bo to stick it in Bo's face. Anybody who's watching the pod tomorrow, wear a jersey in solidarity, okay, against this man right here who is anti-fun. Anti-fandom. Austin, $2. Draft coverage was A+. Hold the line for a playoff spot. Oh, I like that. Hold a spot in the playoffs for your boys.
We might have to do Jersey Thursday, Johnny. I know we might have missed it this week, but that might have to be the thing moving forward.
We will incorporate, as this is a safe space, despite my co-host's feelings on the matter, as a place you can come rep jerseys. Absolutely.
Yeah. Any day could be Jersey.
Jersey.
It's not my own.
Jersey Friday. Yep. People are saying they're going to wear jerseys tomorrow. Let's do it. And then take a picture, tag us on Twitter. We'll retweet it. I will wear a jersey. Damon will wear a jersey. We will all wear.
My kid has a Kyler jersey. I don't. I'm trying to think if I have a jersey of any type.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to look at you now the same as a fan of this team if you don't know if you own a Cardinal jersey.
I've got hats. I wear hats.
Johnny,
Is
he
this
did have a
bizarro world?
He did have a Jackson Holiday jersey, but then he burned it once he got sent back down to AAA.
I have a bunch of Cardinals hats. I got a bunch of T-shirts, but I don't wear a jersey. Jerseys, like, especially, I don't have any shoulders. Like, they don't.
Oh, don't try to get sympathy. No one cares about that. Charlie Sinclair, $1.99. Lambo lad gonna cook Max Melton just for Johnny. If that happens, I'll throw up all over myself, Charlie. Don't come after my boy Max. Have you seen him?
He'll be going against Garrett Williams. They put him in the slot, right?
Somebody needs to remind Charlie, Lambo lad's not being held up by a historically great Georgia team. It's time to get with the pros, lad. You know, I'm gonna call him lad, practice squad lad late in the year.
Darren's asking Tillman ? I would rock a PT jersey, no doubt. Fitz, Tillman.
Where are they?
I'm all in.
We need to do a segment if the Cardinals allowed us. Bo and I go shopping at the team store for jerseys, and
that's what our guys do. What chaos? They do like what are they? Team shops? Yeah, they go hit up the team shops.
If the Cardinals need to get in contact with us, free branding. Let's go and do PHNX Cardinals at the team store. So Bo, we can introduce Bo to jerseys, and he can buy his first one. I think that'd be good. Somebody let the Cardinals know we'd like to do that.
Maybe a Trey baby, Bo.
Like that? I think the first jersey that needs to be purchased just by this show is Tip Ryman.
I'm gonna say no to that.
Meet you in the C gap, Tip.
No thanks. Topic 64, $4.99, and watch it. JT knock lad in the middle of next week. Jalen Thompson, yeah, like he destroyed. Go watch Jalen Thompson almost break CJ Stroud's ribs last year. Physical, baby. Physical. Super fret flips. Bo wants a NFL draft jersey. Just any jersey?
Yeah, I'll take a number one pick. I won't be doxing myself. No home address here on the airwaves.
Bo, give us your address so people can send you stuff. AK deadline. I have a Fitz jersey in the new threads. It was hard to pick a player at the time. Last year was especially tough because listen, Kyler wasn't healthy. It was a new regime, and there was nothing safe. Remember, we had a show specifically. Buddha had asked for a trade. There was Simmons was on his way out. Hopkins. There was no safe jersey to buy for the fans.
Yeah. PR Mac wants us to do a segment on undrafted rookies. There's 3 of them. There's really none because they had so many actually members of their draft class. There was 12 guys they selected. There was 3 that they did, including a long snapper. You can get into some Zay Weaver, talk about him, or we could talk about Miles Murphy, the big defensive player.
I'm happy we haven't done that, PR Mac, in all seriousness, because it means the team's better. They had more draft picks. But listen.
Austin saying Bo Boley and Bronny Venerable. What do you think about that?
I think he is a bully, and I am Ronnie. It's too hot to wear my flannels right now, Austin. We'll have to wait till about October, November, where I bust those out again. Johnny Flannel. I will wear a jersey. Join me.
They calling me Beta Bo?
Bully Bo.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Let us know which jersey you're repping tomorrow in the comments down below.
Jersey. I just don't.
There's very few times I feel more prideful than when I wear a jersey. How about that? When I go to an event, when I go to a Cardinal game, I don't know if I've ever gone to State Farm Stadium for a game and not worn a jersey. It almost feels sacrilegious to me if I'm not repping a player that day. Bo's in there. He's got khakis on. He's got like a button down. Just trying not to be seen.
That's so far from the truth.
Just trying not to be seen. Maybe just like a hoodie.
Johnny's putting on his Sunday best.
I've got repping my team on my head with a cap, with one of my favorite caps.
I don't give 2 shits about a hat. I want to know: do you bleed cardinal red? Do you have a nice heavy 100% shit material Reebok jersey from 20 years ago. Remember those old jerseys they used to wear and they just would sag on people? You haven't lived until you've worn one of those for 7 hours in the heat.
Remember, just thinking about old GM Saul Bookman at Sun Devil Stadium watching this Cardinals team just cooking it. And Frank Sanders.
That's who I was going to say. Victor, how about this? Bo doesn't take the bus. I think Jonathan Gannon would be disgusted with my co-host right now if he knew about this. Yep, Victor saying no fire in his gut.
Have a great fashion sense, and I bet JG hasn't worn a jersey since he took his off at Louisville.
I don't believe that. I don't believe it. To some shady, unrelatable Bo, 100%. We try to be relatable on this pod. I feel like there's cracks in the foundation right now with this show today. Like this show.
I don't know how they're going to be able to trust Bo ever again. I don't.
Harmony saying no ass slaps for Bo. That's right. That's right.
You want me in the locker room asking questions wearing a jersey?
What if you wore like, you just showed up at the presser and you had like Will Hernandez's jersey on? You got it like at the team store made. And you went to the locker room and you're like, just trying to interview Trey McBride and you have Will's jersey on. Just people would be like, what is going on?
Journalism died. It died.
He is Hollywood Bo. We are
That's
the PHNX Cardinals podcast. This has been a fun show here on a Football Thursday. We promise we will air the Sam Monson video tomorrow, the interview that my co-host did. Drop a like on this video. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Again, we talked about it earlier in the show. Pick up a free hat or shirt. Specifically, how about the PHNX Phoenix Cardinals shirt right now by becoming a diehard, and then save some money on all future events, including Keeping It Real 100. Keeping It 100, baby. How about that new t-shirt, Bo?
I'm wearing that. There's you won't have any problems with me not wanting to rep PHNX. I will wear this shirt all the time. Got mine ordered. Get yours ordered at the PHNX locker. You can make it your free shirt for the year, or hat or shirt. You can do it by becoming a diehard today. You know what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to let's make the Sam Monson interview available for our diehards right now. The rest of you can check it out tomorrow when we do finally play it. But yeah, the Phoenix Cardinal tee, you can get it right now in the PHNX locker. It's live and ready.
Be ready tomorrow. Rep a jersey with your boys, not name Bo. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Subscribe to PHNX Cardinals wherever you get your podcasts. For Damon, Dawg, Bully, Bo, Brack, I'm Johnny Venerable. We'll see you on a Football Friday. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.